Hello everyone, welcome to my presentation. Today I'll be talking about social media-based crisis communication leveraging virtual partnerships among local agencies. In this modern technological era, social media platforms are being increasingly used for disseminating information during any disaster situation or extreme event. Therefore, they have already become a very vital socio-technical component in the framework of community resilience. Public agencies have already adopted these social media platforms very successfully for crisis communication purposes, risk and response communication during disasters. But to the best of our knowledge, no study has focused solely on the local and regional agencies when it comes to crisis communication. And neither they have looked into their cross partnerships on social media platforms. So actually having an empirical knowledge about how exactly these local agents are engaging on social media platforms for crisis communication during disaster events can give us a very good demonstration of how significant their roles are in enhancing community resilience in general. And this information can also aid the emergency managers and policymakers to work more efficiently on these platforms during future disaster events. With that motivation in mind, in this research study, we address two questions. One, which specific local agencies are leading in disseminating information during a disaster on social media platforms? Two, how are the emergency support functions, that is ESFs, of these local agencies correlated with their engagement of their crisis communication posts? So to address these two questions, we collected the data from Twitter as the social media platform. We collected tweets for the agencies from 8 counties in the East Central Florida region, including Brevard, Lake, Marion, Orange, Osceola, Seminole, Sumter, and Volusia counties. We manually collected Twitter screen names for 377 agencies, including county, regional, federal, state, level of organizations, and then applying the Twitter API, we collected the Twitter attributes of these Twitter profiles. By Twitter attributes, I refer to their traits as like the friend counts, followers count, tweet counts, retweet counts, like counts, etc. And we also collected county-wise ESFs for these agencies. And as our disaster event, we took Hurricane Irma as our case study, and we collected the historical tweet data from the time period of 30th August 2017 to 30th September 2017. That is 1 month of data. So initially we collected like 70k tweets from 299 agencies out of these 377 from that Hurricane Irma period. So from this huge tweet data set, we applied the keyword Irma, and then we filtered out 9,932 tweets that are specifically related to Hurricane Irma. So that is our basic data set that we assessed for the rest of our study. So in the data analysis part, we assessed relationship between various attributes of the local agencies and their Twitter profiles through data visualization. Then I tried to apply an engagement matrix to assess the overall engagement activity of these Twitter profiles. And from that matrix, I tried to find out which local agencies are leading when it comes to crisis communication. But this was only limited to Hurricane Irma case study. And from those leading agencies, I tried to determine which ESFs were appearing most frequently among these leading agencies. So for the engagement matrix, I utilized an already existing engagement matrix from the literature that was relatable to my project. So this was utilized by Naomi et al. In 2020, and their research study was titled How Engaging Are Disaster Management Related Social Media Channels. So what they did was they implied three metrics that are popularity, commitment, and virality. And these three metrics are related to the likes, replies, and retweet counts, respectively, of a Twitter profile. As you can see from the table on my poster, the very simple mathematical formula from these three metrics, they collected the P, C, and V score, respectively. And from the cumulative P, C, and V score, they calculated the overall engagement, that is the E score of the Twitter profile. This engagement score represents the overall engagement performance of a profile. So applying this simple mathematical formula, I tried to visualize which local agencies are leading when in terms of engagement scores. As you can see from the figure 2, it's very clear that county and regional level agencies that are represented by blue colors, they are much more leading in terms of engagement score compared to other levels of organizations that are like federal, state, or national level organizations. So this was a very crucial finding. And among those leading counties, Brevard, Orange, and Osceola County appeared to be the most engaged ones when I was considering top 100 leading agencies. And as you can see from the plot, among the top leading profiles, the agency profiles that are related to utilities, non-profit voluntary work, or city governments, these are very leading in terms of the engagement scores. Like you can see Seco Energy, the Salvation Army Orlando, City of Cape Canaveral, Florida Power and Light, and United Way of Lake and Sumter counties. So this was like a pattern that I noticed in not only just in engagement score, but also in the three separate metrics like popularity, commitment, and virality. These agencies were appearing frequently in all of the three kinds of metrics. And when I was looking into their tweets, I found out that apart from posting original ones, these leading local agencies also tend to retweet posts from the federal, national, and state level agencies to gain more attention from the public. And that also contributed a lot to their overall engagement performance. And after determining these top leading local agencies, I tried to visualize which ESFs are appearing most frequently among these top 100 leading agencies. And from figure 3 on my poster, you can see that ESF number 2, number 5, and number 6 that are related to the communications, information and planning, mass care, emergency assistant, temporary housing, and human services. These three ESFs were the most active ones during Hurricane Irma among these leading 100 agencies. So these were the findings from my research study so far, which address the two main questions that we have. And for the future part of this research, we'll be addressing 3 more questions. 1. How does the dynamics of social crisis communication of these local agencies change during different stages, that is preparation, response, and recovery of a disaster? 2. Which variables play a role in increasing the engagement of this crisis communication posts shared by the agencies during a disaster? 3. Whether we'll be looking at whether these local agencies are well connected with each other on social media platforms. That is that we'll be assessing their cross partnerships. So those are the things that we'll be looking more into in the future. And I guess that's it for my poster presentation today. Thank you for listening to me and being patient.